Another city hospital, live from Guy's and St Thomas's. Now, Alice King was at home having dinner when she got a bad tummy ache, and it was her best friend who talked her into going to hospital. 3 hours later, Alice gave birth to a baby boy. The only problem was, Alice didn't even know she was pregnant. And the next problem was, she had to tell her boyfriend. That's Alice's surprise on today's City Hospital. Still to come, Mark was on his way to work when his mobile rang. It was his girlfriend Alice, and she had something to tell him. Last night, Mark had become the proud father of a little baby boy. Wonderful news, except neither of them knew Alice was pregnant. Right, now, it was Alice King's friend who persuaded her to come into hospital to get her severe stomach cramps checked out. She will be eternally grateful to her, as the cause of her stomachache was to come as a bit of a shock, to say the least.
I was just sitting at home, and I had my friend round, and we were just having dinner, and I kept getting these pains, and it was horrible.
The pains got so bad that Alice had to be rushed to A&E.
So we went to the hospital, came to St Thomas's, which I'm glad we did, and found out I was pregnant, and then found out that I was about to give birth.
Just 3 hours after arriving, Alice, to her complete astonishment, gave birth to Daniel.
Finding out you're pregnant is fair enough, and then finding out you're about to give birth is pretty shocking, so.
The news also came as a bolt from the blue for her boyfriend Mark. He was on his way to work when he took the phone call he will never forget.
When her friend first rang me, she sounded really panicking and a bit overexcited. And she's saying, "Where are you?" And I'm at work. And she's, "Why are you at work? Oh my God, you don't know. And I thought, "No, what?" And then I thought, I was a bit worried about it, because I know Alice was feeling a bit rough the night before. She said she had a bellyache and things, but I didn't expect her to turn around and say, "Oh my God, I don't know how to put this, but Alice gave birth to a baby boy last night." She said, "Yeah, he's at St Thomas's, make your way there now." It was the most emotional day out of the blue, baby being born, literally overnight. And it's all it's sort of taken me by storm, really. I mean, it's hard to explain. Still getting over it, but I mean, I'm a lot more relaxed and happy about it now.
Apparently, he was crying in the car on the way up, and didn't speak for about 5 hours, or couldn't speak properly. Yeah, so he was in deep shock, but he's really pleased now.
Alice was 24 weeks into her unexpected pregnancy, and Daniel weighed little more than a pound. At the very edge of viability, he was rushed to neonatal intensive care, where for the first week his life hung in the balance.
Daniel was born at 24 weeks gestation, which is 16 weeks earlier than a normal full-term pregnancy. The chance of surviving is quite small, really. At 23 weeks, it's certainly well under 50%. At 24 weeks, it's around about 50%, maybe slightly more. Even though most of our staff are very experienced at dealing with parents in this situation, we can't really imagine what they're going through. But we certainly do appreciate that there's a lot of support that's required.
Not only did Alice and Mark have to come to terms with their overnight baby, they also had to deal with the worry of Daniel being so premature.
Mothers, when they first come in, very frightened, very nervous. Their image of a baby is still the full-term, well baby, big baby. And they come in here and they look at these tiny little things and get very scared. Everything, all the monitors, all the connections that are on the baby, very daunting. So it's very important for us that we explain to the mothers everything we're doing.
Daniel made it through the first few critical days, and by week 2, he was strong enough for the event Alice and Mark had been waiting for.
They're going to sit me down and put him onto my chest. And then I can cuddle him for the first time. So that'll be good.
Then just relax back. Put in this warm sheet to stay nice and warm.
Oh, hello, it's when I got home, I felt like knocking on people's front doors now. I've got a little boy. But yeah, this is my son, and there's nothing in the world like it. It's just an amazing feeling. I'm holding my son.
Oh, look at his face.
I'm looking at Daddy.
It's the moment every parent cherishes, and for Alice and Mark, it's the first time they can truly feel like a family. Oh dear, Alice and Mark not only have the shock of Daniel's arrival to deal with, but he's got some way to go before he's well enough to go home, and we'll hear a bit more about that later in the programme. To come on City Hospital, we're back with Alice King and her boyfriend Mark as they come to terms with having the baby they weren't expecting, and all they can do is watch as their fragile son struggles to survive. We met 23-year-old Alice King, who got the shock of her life when what she thought were stomach cramps turned into a baby boy. When Daniel was born, Alice and her boyfriend Mark had been completely unaware that she was pregnant. Daniel was 4 months early, weighed little more than a pound, and had only a 50% chance of survival. But by the end of his second week, he seemed to be turning a corner.
He is doing really well. I mean, the doctors, he's really surprised the doctors at how well he's doing.
Alice finally gets the chance to be more of a hands-on mum when she changes her son's nappy for the first time.
Oh, because you're so small, I just don't want to hurt you. Yep, beautiful. Look at that.
Darling, you're smelling.
Yeah, smelly bum.
By 6 weeks, Daniel has improved so much he can now leave intensive care. It's a major milestone.
Well, Daniel's having a very good day because today is the day that Daniel gets a promotion and he moves on to our special care baby unit, which is known as a SCBU. And it's basically when you're doing well and improving and needing less invasive procedures, you move on to your special care unit.
It's just great that he's out of intensive care and he's just working his way out of hospital. It's just good news.
But just a few days later, there's a setback.
He's had some bleeding in either his tummy or in his intestines. He's got a bit of an infection in his tummy and we've had to stop his feeds. He's been on some antibiotics to help that clear up, but also a lot of it is to do with him not feeding for a good week and letting the tummy rest and get back to normal.
To Alice and Mark's disappointment, their son has to go back to intensive care.
They just feed him intravenously instead of through milk, how they have been. It's not nice seeing him, so uncomfortable, struggling around and crying and not being able to lay down and sleep.
For Alice and Mark, it's a frustrating step backwards.
I want to be able to pick him up and hold him. Know that he's strong enough for me to hold him for quite a while, maybe 3 hours or something, rather than, 15 minutes. That's what my hopes are.